This is the plaintiff, Michael Martin. He says the defendant, his neighbor, put a big metal bed frame on the street for the garbage men to pick up, but the thing blew over and damaged the hood of his 2001 Monte Carlo. When he confronted the guy, he told him he wasn't going to pay him because he probably backed into the bed frame himself, and that's why it fell over and damaged his car. Huh? The defendant's making things up as he goes along. He's owed $515.69, and that's just what he's suing for today. This is the defendant, Kevin Chambers. He says he put the bed frame out on the sidewalk flat on the ground for garbage collection and then left for work. He never leaned the thing up on a tree, has no idea what went on while he was away regarding the plaintiff and his car. Definitely, most positively, doesn't owe him any money for a damaged hood. He's accused of trashing a neighbor.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Please come to order. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Michael Martin, you are suing Kevin Chambers for $515.69 that you will be out for having to repair a car that you say was damaged due to his negligence. Tell me what happened.
Yes. On February 17th, Kevin Chambers put a bed frame and a box spring out against a tree 2 foot from my car, and he left for work, and I watched the frame fell onto my right quarter.
You watched it fall?
Right on my right quarter panel.
Why were you watching?
I was having my coffee and getting ready to go to the store.
Oh, goodness. Were you inside or outside when you watched it?
Outside.
Okay, and so you see it fall. How did it fall?
It was a windy day. It was about 30-mile-an-hour winds.
What kind of frame was it?
Bed frame, metal frame, and a white headboard and footboard.
Do you have pictures?
Yes, I do.
May I see them?
Yes, you may.
What'd you do when you saw? How did you know it was him?
I saw him put the frame and everything out.
And was it in front of his house or these homes?
Yes, right out in front of his house.
So you had seen him put the stuff out on,
yes.
And you saw him put it 2 feet from your car, and you weren't worried then? You didn't say, hey, wait a minute, maybe not? Or that's where people put out the garbage?
Not really, but I seen it, and that's what happened. It fell against my car.
Okay, so you not only saw him put it there, but according to you saw it fall.
Yes.
And all that happened in the space of how much time?
About 2 minutes.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the bed frame in the bed?
No, I don't. I didn't have a cell phone.
So what did you do when you saw that happen?
I called Neptune City Police Department.
Okay.
And an officer came out, and he removed the bed frame from my right quarter panel.
Okay, did you write a police report?
Yes, I do.
May I see it? Yeah. What happened?
Well, I'm a little surprised that he's told me putting this out, only because I left at a very early date, at a very early time.
What time? But you did put it out that morning?
Yes, on the ground with some other items.
What time did you leave?
Around 6 o'clock in the morning.
Where did you go at 6 o'clock in the morning?
I had to be down in South Jersey, down in Salem County for an appointment.
Okay.
It's about
what time was your appointment?
It's about a 2-hour drive.
Okay.
Around 8:39, around that time.
Maybe it wasn't 6 o'clock. Maybe it was closer to 7.
Well.
Okay,
well, but it was early. It was extremely early.
According to you, you did what? Yeah. You laid everything down flat?
I laid everything down.
That would take up a lot of room because you're throwing out a bed and then a bed frame?
No, it was just the frame of the bed. There wasn't any metal there, and there wasn't any box spring.
There was no box spring?
There wasn't any box spring.
And according to you, there was a box spring?
Yes.
Well, the box spring is still in my bedroom, so it would be a little awkward that I would be throwing something out when I'm using it right now.
Okay, well.
And then there were some other framed items, some metal frame pictures that I had out. And so unfortunately in our community, there's a lot of pickers that go through the community, move things around, they take things, furniture.
So what is your point, that you think somebody else neatly laid the stuff up against the tree?
Well, I think they probably put it up against the tree, and so that they could take the other metal frames and the other pictures with them. And because when you see it, there are people that put out large amounts.
Why was it there to begin with, though?
Just for trash day. Well, I wouldn't have, I have a picture, could I show you?
Yeah,
a picture?
yeah.
I have other pictures, but,
Yeah.
oh, okay. This is where I laid it. It wouldn't make any sense for me to put it against the tree because the trash man really wouldn't be able to get it, and I have a driveway that I'm really able to put it.
Well, come over here and show me where you put it. Right here.
Yeah. I put it right in this area here, and that way the trash man.
What's this area here? The driveway?
That's my driveway, yes.
So you put it blocking your driveway?
Well, yes. Well, I wasn't going to be home, so it really didn't matter whether it was blocking my driveway because I wasn't coming home until much later, that evening. I came home, I guess, maybe around 5:30 because I was down there all day long. So it wouldn't have made any sense. And normally, this car happens to be parked there, but we have a very tight parking situation in our community. And there are many days that people will park right up against my driveway because of the situation. There's virtually no driveways in my community.
Okay.
Like 95% of the people don't have driveways. And between houses and multiple families and apartments, it's very tight.
Right.
So for the trashman to come by and have to go around the car, it wouldn't make any sense, and that's why I put it here. So it would be
meaning
easy.
that most cars will be right up there,
Right.
and the trash man wouldn't even see it
Wouldn't
leaning against the
even
tree.
see-
So you think he's making up having seen you lean it against the tree because he knows your defense. So he's claiming now to have seen you do
Well, I don't know why he's saying that, so.
So there's a good, 10 feet between the tree and the driveway?
I don't know, about 10 feet, maybe
6 feet?
about 6 to 7 feet.
All right, go ahead. You can go back there. You saw this happen at 8 in the morning?
No, ma'am. It was around 11 o'clock.
Oh, so you're saying that he's out and out lying when he
Yes.
says that he left for an appointment at 6 in the morning?
Yes.
If you saw him lay it up against a tree 2 feet from your car, why didn't you run out and stop him? It being a windy day and all, why didn't you run out and stop him?
I had no idea it was going to fall and go against my car.
If anybody puts a bed frame and a bunch of junk 2 feet from my car, I kind of have an idea. And why would he have put it where the tree is when it's a good 6, 7 feet away from where people would even see it to pick it up, the garbage man? What he's saying makes sense. He has every incentive not to have put it there.
I have other pictures, though, that I'd like to show you
Yes,
of his
please.
car. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
This is his car?
Yes, there's multiple damage, not only from the side, but
What year car is this?
It's a 2001 SS Monte Carlo.
There are a lot of scratches on it.
Yes,
That's the
there is.
purpose of these pictures, right?
now that's what he claims was caused by the bed. But on the opposite side, there's a dent that's just as large. But at the bottom left side, there's severe damage, and the side that was away from the bed, that's gone through repair. And after the repair, it's had damage.
Yeah, okay,
So,
I got it. But, that doesn't mean, I have to decide whether this happened or didn't. I don't have to decide, hey, your car is a piece of junk. That's not
Well,
how
I
do
understand
it.
that, but at the bottom of the car there, a lot of people on our street, because, again, of the parking shortage and desperate to find a space, still make K-turns. So I don't know whether this guy made a K-turn and could have hit
What do you mean a
whatever.
K-turn?
Where you
Back and
forth.
Yeah, but it's on the side. That would be hard to do.
No, but at the bottom there, it's all damaged at the bottom of his.
Oh, so you're saying that maybe the damage he's claiming
Well, again, I wasn't there. I was away all
was
day.
done some other way, and and that he backed it. That's very intricate. Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be
But
nice
it's-
if the
but the-
officer said something, because according to you, the officer sees it leaning on your car,
He's
but
the
he
one that
doesn't put
pulled-
that in the report.
He's the one that pulled. There's a narrative report. You can call up.
Give me the narrative report.
There's a number. They want to give that to me. You have to call for that, Your Honor. I have a number right here and everything.
Okay, that's just silly.
They would not release the narrative to me.
Okay. Did you two ever talk to each other?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that. He comes, that's how you learned that this happened?
Yes, he came to my house.
And?
And he said, come out. He said that this bed hit his car, so I
Are
went
you
out.
two
and looked at
neighbors, next door neighbors?
Across the street.
Across the street. All right. So go ahead.
it. And he came and he said, look, this happened, which I didn't really say anything to him because we have a lot of people in the community that you just have to be cautious of because the state has taken advantage of our shore community. It has a lot of state people between mental and ex-parolees, so you learn to like be cautious and, you know, be kind of passive so you don't create any problem with anything. So I just was quiet and, you know, I could understand his gripe, but at the same time, it was confusing to me, except that all I can think of is that people moved it and that's how it wound up against the tree. Because it didn't make any other sense.
He claims he saw you put it out there. You know he's lying about
very
that.
much.
If you're telling the truth, he's got to be lying. There's no middle ground on this.
I've never seen the guy up early, so you know that's why I'm a little surprised that he would even say that.
Well,
you know?
what he says is that it wasn't early. That's what he's saying.
No, it was early because you know it's a 2.5 hour drive down to the Salem area. There's no way of getting around.
When he knocked on your door, was he passive or was he aggressive?
To me, he seemed aggressive. He certainly was aggressive later on, shouting across the street and threatening me with calling the police on me, and he left telephone calls. And after seeing the extent of the damage and then thinking that he very possibly caused the damage, I really just separated completely. So
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Are you allowed to put a big metal bed frame on the street for trash collection?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
That's just, it takes up space and it just gets in the way of everyone. Pedestrians, cars, who knows?
What do you think?
Absolutely not, too. Same thing.
Anybody think you can? No?
No, I don't think you can.
Okay. Nobody thinks you can going inside the courtroom.
I can see definitely that your car was damaged. I'm going to assume for a moment that if I were to gather your evidence for you that you didn't gather by getting the narrative, which frankly you should have gotten, I don't know why they wouldn't give it to you if they give you the other page.
They would not.
But let's assume that he's going to say that he took the thing off. What I got to determine is whether or not that's where he put it. I have several things that are bothering me. I don't think you saw him put it out there. I think that you read his defense and then made your case a little bit better by saying that you saw him put it out there. It doesn't make sense that someone who wants their garbage picked up puts it 7 feet away from where people are going to end up seeing it. If your car was already parked there, the garbage men are not going to see it. So if you can't have it both ways. If you're telling me, well, my car was already there, so he should have realized that he was putting it in a place. Well, then if your car was already there, he knows that the garbage men aren't going to see it. So why would he put it way back there? He'd put it in his driveway where the garbage men would see it. It makes no sense. I think what happened is exactly what he's suggesting, that there were pickers who are picking through stuff, and so they're moving it, you know, and why they would walk 6 feet rather than leaving it on the sidewalk, because they don't care if you get fined, is a little weird too, but, you know, that kind of makes it lean towards your next theory, which is that it was in the driveway, he's K-ing it out, and he hits it, and then all this other stuff ends up coming into play. I don't know how it happened. I just got to determine this. Did you present to me sufficient proof that the way he put out the garbage for the garbage men is negligent in a way that he has to pay you $500 to fix your car? And I find that you have not been able to prove that to me with what has been in front of me, and I find in favor of the defendant in this case.
Plaintiff unable to prove that the defendant negligently placed that bed frame. So step on in here. I just couldn't prove it in there.
Yes, I see that.
Right?
Yes.
And so what could you have done? What evidence could you have possibly produced other than
police
video?
Officer with a narrative report that he did remove it from my off
That
the
narrative
tree.
report, what do you mean by that? What is that narrative
That
report?
explained everything that he did.
In writing?
In writing, yes.
In writing.
They wouldn't release that to me yesterday at the police department.
Why? Too sensitive?
No,
Top
they said the
secret
judge
national
had.
stuff?
They said the judge had to ask for that. Mm-hmm. All right.
You guys are still neighbors.
Yeah. And number two, after I told him, he said to get the estimates, and he came out and cleaned the white paint off from the bed frame and brought the bed frame back to the side.
What do you
of his
think of your
house.
neighbor?
It's all right. It's all right. I'll live with a couple of dents.
All right. Okay, good. That's the way. That's neighborly. That's neighborly of them. All right. So you satisfied how this comes out here?
Definitely.
What was it like being sued by your neighbor there like that?
Well, it's unfortunate, but it's not as though it's not a common occurrence, you know. Mm-hmm. Now,
You get along? You guys get along?
I don't know him. actually. He lives in an apartment complex, and so it's, I really don't know the people in the
If you see him walking toward you on the street, you're gonna cross the other side, or you're gonna say hello?
Pretty much, just to stay the distance.
Stay away. Harvey?
You know, in this case, the plaintiff had a theory, but the problem is there was no proof to back up the theory, and you need proof to tip the scales of justice and win a case. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.